Okay, and can you remind me because I've had several complaints and I don't remember what specifically was this.
Yeah, so it was something in regards to you mentioned 10-8, 10-9, 10-10, 10-11 involving our interaction with some interaction with I think your child and your husband. There was some calls at the house for service, and we had some involvement with you.
Yes, actually now I remember it. So I was really concerned because I never received a call back from the officer that night. It was Officer Seeger, and
Okay.
basically that evening, I had a FaceTime call with my daughter, who's 4 years old, and my 9 year old and I were on the phone on the FaceTime. This was recorded with audio and video from the FaceTime. And during this call, my daughter um, started screaming in pain, saying that her butt hurt and that her stomach hurt. And she was screaming in pain, grabbing her vagina, saying her butt hurt. She had previously made complaints about sexual abuse in the past by the older brother, who's almost 18. That's her half brother from her father. And he regularly will be babysitting her. And so the father leaves her with the son. She's complained about sexual abuse. New Britain police did not investigate it. Instead, they outsourced the investigation to Yale, and Yale put her through some bogus forensic interview, which didn't even ask her anything. They asked her if she had private parts, and she said no, and then they ended it, and New Britain refused to investigate further. So
Oh, geez.
for them to then label it saying it's unsubstantiated, no disclosure was made, and having a social worker who's not a trained detective or anything, the detective who was assigned to the case from New Britain outsourced it completely to Yale and said it was either she makes a disclosure in this forensic interview at Yale or nothing. And so like they refused to even look into it further, even though I had like many, like more than 70 to 80 video recordings of my daughter saying on video, acting out and describing what happens to her. And so for her to then, during this call, while her father is on the bed, passed out, drunk, could barely even function in the middle of the afternoon, she's sitting there and she's screaming in pain. I'd be surprised if they had that video, but I did send it. I sent it to Officer Seeger that day, and it took me a while because I mean, like, in order to record the FaceTime call, Apple doesn't let you, if you screen record it, it doesn't show the audio. So if you wanted to have a video that shows the audio and the video at the same time, you would have to take the time to take the video and audio and merge it together. And so that's what I had to do in between from when this call happened. But when the call happened, I immediately said to my daughter, like, oh, I'm going to call you back. And then I called the police. I called Waterbury Police Department, and I explained to them that she's screaming in pain. The father was not even offering her any medical attention. He's telling her, oh, you just didn't wipe properly. He said, you didn't wipe from using the bathroom properly, and that's why she's screaming in pain, hurling over. And you can see this on the video. And he's doing nothing. And so I said to the Waterbury Police, I would like them to send for a wellness check on my daughter. And on many times in the past, I've asked for wellness checks, and Matthew will just say, "Oh, you don't have a warrant," or "I'm not going to let police in the house," and tell them to leave. And so I said to them that day, he most of the time you guys just leave. He never wants the police to talk to them. I said I just want somebody to make sure that they actually have a paramedic check out my daughter because she's screaming in pain and she's saying her stomach and abdominal pain and stuff like, and this is not okay. So they
Yeah, you
sent
want
him.
an evaluation and peace of mind for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was then, and usually when I call police in Waterbury, a lot of times it takes forever for them to get back to me once the call goes in. But when I made this call, it was almost immediately that I received a call back from Officer Seeger. And he said to me that, okay, like, we're going to go right now. And he said, like, we'll let you know what's going on. And then he said he was going to send me a link to give him the video. And like I said, I then had to get the audio and merge it with the other part, and I tried to send him on the link what I had so far without the audio, and then when I went to go put in the other video, the link was expired. It only lets you do it once, and there was no way. The problem with Waterbury is that you guys make it so if I call the police department, it gets outsourced to Northwest Communications Incorporated, and you have civilians answering the phone who are saying that they're dispatchers for calls, but then they just make their own decisions about what to do. And
real quick, Theodore, just to back up, so did you end up able to send that video, or the link expired and you weren't?
So then basically he, then that's the problem. I called back to try to, because I couldn't just call him directly, you know. I had to go through that nonsense, and then by the time he got back to me,
civilian dispatchers.
Yeah, and then he got back to me finally, and he was asking me a couple questions, and he said to me, I told him I needed a new link, so he said, okay, I'm going to send you another link, send me everything that you think's relevant, because I mentioned to him about the sexual abuse stuff and everything like that, and I sent him some of these videos I told you where my daughter's like acting out and talking about the abuse, and it's very clear about it. And so when he saw that video, he was like, when was that from? And he asked me some questions, and I answered him. I told him I need a new link. He gave me the other link, and then he said, oh, I'm getting another call coming in. Hold on, I'll call you back. I got another call coming in. And then I never heard back from him again. And I did everything that he said to do. I sent all that stuff and never heard a word back. Apparently, I still am not being given the records for this. And by the way, just for reference, my, I had like primary residency of my daughter for 4 years. And then in May, a judge put in a temporary order saying that the dad was going to get sole custody switched to him because the judge said I lied about the sexual abuse because this Yale and everything said it was unsubstantiated. But I didn't lie. My daughter was 3. There's all these technicalities involved that people aren't understanding. So regardless, my parental rights were never terminated. And this is important to know the distinction when people say if somebody loses custody is different from them losing their parental rights. And if somebody has no parental rights, they're not their legal guardian. They can't take them to the doctor. They can't do these certain things that the hospital should know, the police should know. Because if it comes to a situation where if the child's sole guardian is Matthew, and Matthew's being arrested on felony risk of injury to a minor, interfering with an officer, resisting arrest, and he has to now go into Waterbury Police to go to jail and bond out. I don't know how long Matt was in your custody there, but regardless, he was there. He bonded out. There was a period of time when my daughter had no legal guardian watching her. I don't know who was involved, if DCF was there, who from DCF was there. I'm getting halfway stories from different people, and I don't have all the notes in front of me, but I've documented everything, and I could, get back to you about all that. But the fact is that I was told by Seeger, I will get a call back. I'll call you right back. And he didn't even have the decency to call me back. Then I'm wondering for days what happened. And I didn't find out my ex got arrested until days later. And so I don't even know.
I think you ended up calling back the next day to do a check, right? And then
no, I called to try to talk to a real detective or a real officer and not these Northwest people. And then I got to talk to somebody, and he's the one who said to me, oh, your ex it looks like an arrest was made. And I'm like, an arrest was made? When they didn't call me back, I assumed it was like every other time when they just left. So for him to say that he was arrested, he was in jail, and my minor child was left in the hands of somebody that's not her legal guardian. I am her mother, and I'm her legal guardian. I've all my parental rights intact. My parental rights have never been terminated, ever. Never been substantiated.
Do you have shared custody, or does he have sole custody?
It was shared custody, but then it got temporary sole custody to him after they said I lied about this sexual abuse, which is I never lied, and that's
during this incident with Officer Seeger and that we dealt with. What was your custody at that time?
The same thing that it is now. It says that he has sole custody, but like I'm saying, I have my parental rights. So if somebody,
You're still a parent, yeah.
I'm her legal guardian, and in Connecticut, a child has 2 legal guardians, their mother and their father. automatically, and the police should know that. What's the protocol if he has sole custody, right? And he's going to jail. What's the protocol that you do for the child, for a minor child, in any situation where a sole custody father is getting locked up? What do you guys do?
Well, it's not that black and white. I think it depends on the scenario, who's there.
Okay, so in this scenario, he lives with his mother, and the mother is the grandmother of Angelina, and the grandmother doesn't have any legal rights. And in Connecticut, the grandmother does not have legal rights unless they go to court and get custody and visitation. She has zero custody. She has zero visitation. Her husband, who's not even blood related to my daughter that lives there, also has no rights. Nobody else in that household has any legal rights to her except for Matthew, who was going to jail. So given that situation, and given the fact that the mother, myself, was the one who put this call in and that I was told I'd get a call back, don't you think that if he was getting arrested, the second he's in handcuffs, shouldn't I be the next call to say, hey, can you come get Angelina? Regardless of whatever, if DCF has to get involved, I should be called. And I don't know who got called or what, but I was told that Karen Bowers, who is the mother of Matthew, lied to the police and lied to St. Mary's Hospital and lied to DCF and told them that she was her legal guardian. She's not her legal guardian. She has two legal guardians, me and Matthew. One of them was in jail. The only other person who had legal custody of her was in jail. I have my parental rights. In a situation like that, the law would allow for me to take temporary custody of her immediately. And I would have been able to do that, and we would have dealt with it in court with DCF, with all that stuff. I was completely cut out of the equation. Karen Bowers, apparently, from what I was told through the grapevine, went to St. Mary's Hospital, who's also withholding records, and so is Waterbury, and went to St. Mary's Hospital and told them that she's her legal guardian, signed off on paperwork for a sexual assault evaluation, said to the hospital that I am not her legal guardian and not to let me have any records or access. And I tried to call St. Mary's, and I've been going back and forth, and this is why I have a lawsuit now going on against Waterbury Police Department, St. Mary's, etc., because they said to me they're not giving me any records, they're not giving me any answers, that I don't know. This woman committed forgery. She lives in Waterbury. I want criminal charges pressed against her. She's not her legal guardian. No, in no circumstance would she ever be construed to be her legal guardian. I'm the mother. I should have immediately got a call, especially since I put the call in. I was the complainant.
Withholding records, did you submit a FOIA request to us?
Yep, just like I do every other time. And I put it in your system online, and I received multiple times you guys coming back saying you're not allowed to give me the records, that it's exempt. And I'm her legal guardian. I'm her mother. I'm the complainant. This was my report. And in
do you know about when you submit that request?
I could try to log into the system and stuff. You guys have that FOIA system.
Approximate, was it months ago?
It was like immediately. It was like the day it happened.
Around this time in October?
October 8th.
Okay.
October 8th, as soon as this incident happened, as soon as I got the case number, the next day, I requested the records, and then you guys told me no.
All records pertaining to your child, these incidents, right?
Yeah, from that case number, from everything. And I think I requested it again after that a couple months later, and then I was going back and forth. Then I called, and I was speaking to someone from records, and then she had to call me back, and then we were playing phone tag, and then I never heard back from them, and that's where we're at. And so it's like I wanted to get, and if I have to do another FOIA request on the website, I could, but was going.
For now, let me speak to the supervisor, look into it a little bit. I really appreciate your time in this call, and I appreciate your clarity on the incident that happened to help me, further investigate and look into these issues that you're describing. That's why I wanted to talk to you, so I get a better understanding of it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you for calling. And like I said, I don't know if you want to get back to me, and then if you have okay, and then I could if you have an email address, I could even send you an email with some of the information that I was saying about.
Obviously with these incidents, I could pull up a lot of our case reports, but if I have any questions, there's any loopholes in reach out to you like you did today for some clarification. But from my understanding, speaking to you, clearly you have some concern regarding the follow-up on these incidents that you expected and didn't get, and along with your parental rights and another individual acting on behalf of a parent when you believe that she didn't have any ability to do that, and she did that. So, and then also these records that you weren't given these records. So I want to take the time to look into these things for you, and then get back to you with some answers on it. And then if there's any questions, we can kind of work through it.
Okay, that would be great.
All right, I really appreciate your time, and like I said, give me a little bit of time. I apologize for the delay since this happened. I'm newer in this office, but I am going to look into this and then get back to you.
Okay, and what did you say your name was?
Lieutenant Bissett.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right, bye.